Dan Olds here. We are doing another team interview, a follow-up interview for the 2025 Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition. And this is with the Texas Tech Team Red Raider, who's, boy, pretty much led the competition from the first event on. Haven't won every event, but the total score, it's been a pretty big run, guys. What's going on here? We
It's a
hadn't
good,
seen this before.
it's a good question.
Yeah. Is it destiny? Is it fate? What is it?
Must be.
Yeah. It's impressive. Um, Only time we've seen this was back when there was a Tennessee State team that was doing really well all the way through, and then a little team from Texas, Prairie View, discovered the secret to the open phone challenge. And Corson the Mesh had scored an order of magnitude better than anybody else in the field and got into second and then won it in the interview. But that's, you guys have been very strong. I'm not going to say insurmountable, but pretty damn strong. Um, and it started from way back from Linpack, where you're fractions of a point from the top score, and then one HPCG came out of that with um, almost all the points. You had 199.72 out of a possible 200 points up to that point. And let's talk a little bit about that crash course. Uh, what'd you think of that? In terms of material usefulness, all of that.
It was really cool. The actual videos that we were given to watch were like
Mhm.
given to us as training videos for this competition as well. So it was really good to like review those videos.
Oh, really? Yeah. You know why? Because Michael Beebe is the one that I talked to, because I was searching literally for months, just looking at YouTube, looking. All the labs put out stuff like this. The other researchers put out stuff like this, but it just wasn't. I'm not going to say it wasn't good. It wasn't right for this. And so Texas Tech, I guess, uses that same set of videos, right? Okay, so you'd seen some of that before, and it's pretty useful stuff. I mean, and it's well done. Um, I've had a couple of teams, and let me know what you think of this. Suggest that that crash course should be the first event in this competition for the first week. Then they do Linpack and HPCG, and they start doing stuff on the systems. What do you guys think?
I think that could be good. What I'd suggest is those videos are very long,
Yeah.
because they have a lot of information in them, and a lot of that information was helpful, but a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
also wasn't really relevant to
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing here. Like
Mm-hmm.
coding an OpenMP program, we aren't going to do anything like that. So
True. True. So
I don't know.
curate them a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's possible in the off season to do. Yeah. So cut that down. I do kind of like that that he goes off on some tangents that turn out to be really good for understanding how things work in general. But that's a good note. But otherwise, you think it's a good idea to start with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You guys did damn good in that. In fact, your answers were almost the key to it, because I happened to look at yours first. I'm going, yeah, yeah, that's all the points. Yeah, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, good. So you missed very few points. You weren't quite as fast, but you did end up taking the top spot on that. And now I know why Matadors were number 2 because they've seen it too. Okay, good, 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 good. Um, so nice job there. And you did well at Quantum, but you didn't do New Mexico Lobo well. They took that one, and that was impressive. They'd been kind of mired in the middle of the pack until then. So they took that. Number 2 on Oak Ridge was another surprise. It was University of California, Riverside. Uh, Young team, first time in, first time doing anything like this, but they're the kind of guys who are like, well, in their interview, uh, yeah, I made my first game in like junior high, and he wasn't just playing around with it either. Then, like the last guy, the youngest kid was like going, yeah, I started doing that like in 5th grade. I'm like, dude, come on, really? Yeah, yeah, it was like this, and it was common. I said, if you tell me you did it in assembler, I'm dropping you from the competition. I'm taking you from school. We're going to go out and just get you a job. Because a kid that's doing assembler at, 5th grade, he can do a lot better things than hanging out at Riverside. Let's go pro. But they were number 2. Santa Cruz, a team you can't sleep on, is doing their usual thing, coming up from behind. They were number 3. So, but you guys still held on to your number 1 rank um, overall, which is good. Um, and on AWS, I just got those numbers this morning. Surprisingly enough, number 1 on that too. And your time, remember we talked about beating Evan's time? You did it by 27%. You remember how fast you were on the run you turned in? Because you had the 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And then he was around 3 minutes and some change. But
So
you,
what we submitted was our best price performance, which was just
okay.
barely under 4:30. But one of our
Oh,
runs, we got under 2 minutes and 22 seconds, just about.
nice. Because I know he spent some time with that um, and figured it. I think he was 309 or something like that. Yeah, but good job on that. Um, and what you've got next is the mystery mentor, who is actually Pittsburgh Supercomputing Center. Uh, so that's the folks that did the training materials. And it's going to be fairly conventional challenge. It's not going to be like an Oak Ridge mind twister. So, and that training material is going to go out today. A few videos, they're short. Looks pretty straightforward. And you're all registered to go for that. So have at it. Anyway, Sue, what have we learned since January 13th through this competition? Doesn't have to be anything technical. I mean, you obviously work well together as a team, I think. But
Yeah.
what are the takeaways?
I learned a lot about OpenMP, MPI, like all kinds of message passing things, multi-threading, multiprocessing. A lot of things that have to do with HPCC that I've just never encountered before.
Mm-hmm. No, good, good, good. Can you see it being useful?
Definitely, yeah.
What are
Um,
you looking to do?
I'm looking to start a startup. So,
That's right. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe not what I'd be going into, but I can definitely see how it could be applied
Yeah,
for like hard tech challenges, things like that.
sure. And again, all of the stuff that's the um, fashion today with adding AI, machine learning elements to everything. It's a subset of HPC.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. So Jaden, what are you thinking? What'd you get out of this? If anything, now you can say I can get crap out of this. In fact, I got dumber throughout this process. Perfectly acceptable.
Definitely not. Um, I thought it was really interesting because I like I like math a lot, and I find lots of different like science areas really interesting. So it's been cool to see the way that kind of computing intersects with all of those things and makes really
Mm.
interesting challenges with like running these really complex simulations or with AI, and then also like all of the just how mathematical it
Oh
is really
yeah, yeah,
interesting. Presents a
yeah.
lot of challenges, which I don't know, it's very interesting to me. It's something I'm like definitely now thinking about studying that because it's like I don't know, I think it'd be interesting because there's so many different types of problems you can do where you have like these really computationally complex things that are also scientifically like applicable.
Oh, absolutely. So are you thinking that maybe it sounds like you're going to go on to, you're going to continue your education. You're a grad student, right? Master's student?
Yeah, that's a
All right.
definite,
Okay.
that's like a one of the, like probably the main path. We'll see, but yeah,
And I don't know, maybe you start with the math specialization and then figure out where it applies.
yeah, that would be cool.
Because you are going to have to finally grow up at some point. You are going to have to leave the dorms and the cafeteria and the
Yeah,
dances and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to go out. You can't stay there forever,
yeah.
right? Okay. Okay. Daniel, how about you?
Um, biggest thing I've taken away is like how much work can go into optimization. But
Yeah.
the the class we have to take here, it's called Concepts of Programming Languages.
Hmm.
Our final project is to optimize a Python program to run in under an hour on like a several gigabyte data set.
That
And
is that on a single system or a cluster?
on our uh, Texas Tech's cluster.
Okay.
Um, and I barely scraped by on that project. I got it under half an hour, which was the best time was like 2 minutes. So yeah, I came here and I was thinking it would be same sort of deal, but we ended up learning how like mapping to different cores and mapping to the right memory for what you're doing and rearranging OpenMP threads, these kind of things are things I never thought of when I was doing, it's a class project. And they're things that I kind of feel like I know how to do now. It's
Excellent.
been interesting.
Excellent. I mean, if it'd be interesting if you could do that project again, knowing what you know now, um, be a considerable improvement, I would think. Speaking of that, on the AWS thing, how did you go about figuring out what you were going to run on? Because the real goal of that was to make you think about um, what instance is the right one for Wharf. So how'd you go about that?
Um, I worked a lot with Jaden and figuring that out. Jaden, I don't know if you had anything to say about it.
Um, yeah, I was
I've already heard random chance for some names, so don't worry about saying that.
I spent a lot of time just looking at like at Amazon's list of instances.
Yeah,
They have like all the prices on them and the cores.
yeah.
That was what me and Daniel like talked about kind of earlier on is like we got a pretty fast run, but it was
Hmm.
on a more expensive machine. So it was like, and then we had really cheap runs that were like 5 minutes or 5.5 minutes. So the challenge is kind of like if we can get a slightly cheaper machine to do a
Mhm.
run in under 4.5 minutes, then that would probably get us the best price performance. And so, yeah, I just kind of was like looking at it and being like, based on these
Kind of
cores,
interpolating
yeah.
between
And
them.
then at the end, I guess Daniel went to the Q&A and they were talking about spawn instances, and so he's the one that finally set that up, and that one was those are
Is
way
that the
cheap,
winner?
worked out perfectly. Yeah.
So
Okay.
their normal instances, they cost like $2, $3 an hour or something like that. Um, and actually the instance we ran on, if you run it normally, it costs $7 an hour. But if you use their spot pricing, it drops all the way down to like $2 an hour versus seven.
And plenty speedy, and you only needed 4.5 minutes max.
Yeah.
So yeah, good, good. Um, did you think about profiling at all? Or do you know what that is? Does that ring a bell? It was
And we
what
did
was go ahead.
profiling back in the first competition, or the first, sorry, section. But
Like the LinPack or the
yeah,
HPCG? Okay,
I don't think we ended up doing it this time just because unfamiliar software, we didn't even know where to
sure.
start, or I didn't know where to start with profiling it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It was kind of hinted at that first thing that Evan and I did. And I think that it would have come in handy because Whurf is funny. Whurf, well, nothing scales easily, really. Whurf is not embarrassingly parallel. Um, but you could have gone through and profiled it to see that, for instance, if it could even use or was using all the cores that you had. Um, and you might have been able to find out that perhaps you could have gone with a config that had fewer cores, but at a faster clock rate and maybe at a lower price, or see how it was using memory, something like that. Um, but that's okay. You won. So good. Uh, and good job on that. And what I like is that you did have a methodology for it. So you got some data points up here, data points down there, and figured out what was going to be the best fit. Cool. Well, it's been great having you guys in the competition. The thing I wonder though, Michael Beebe is retiring this year from stewarding this. Who's going to take over? Who's the next generation of Texas Tech Winter Classic Student Cluster competition leaders? Who's going to take over that role?
I think we gotta nominate Jaden. He'll still be around.
We'll see.
I could see Jaden doing that. Yeah, yeah, I could see. It's not that hard. I mean, is it? Doesn't seem like it's really hard. Think about it, Jaden. This is a shot at fame. This is also, are you going for your PhD? You thinking about it, or what? What
Yeah,
what level are you now? What grade? Work on your master's, or are you a senior?
I'm working on my master's right now.
Okay, okay. Maybe a PhD or something.
Yeah, that's the thought.
That's the thought. Okay. Um, this would really easily fulfill your helping to give back and train the next generation under you and not cost you a lot because I think it's kind of fun and it's not that hard. Um, it's, in fact, it's easier now because I've got Linux training. You don't have to teach them Linux or anything. Just tell them to go do the Linux class. It's online. Do it, damn it. Um, Same thing with the HPC stuff. Just go watch it. Leave me alone. Um, but yeah, think actually the hardest part is getting the kids to sign up. Is to find them, get them to sign up. Um, that's the most difficult part. And I don't have to go back to Michael to have him really do anything. So consider it. But we do need someone to take that torch. We don't want it to die, right? No, no, no. It's helped too many. But consider it.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Michael gave us a little presentation at the beginning for like
Yeah.
fundamental concepts, but then he did throw some videos at us, so he didn't have to do too much.
No, no, it wasn't too bad. And I think I don't know. I've always tried to get him to pit the two teams against each other, and that would be amusing, right? Yeah, you'd have a lot of fun with that. So consider it. And any you, by the way, can reach out to me for anything, letters of recommendation, looking to get an internship, a job, whatever. I'm out here to help. So that's my part of paying back all the effort you've put in. So don't be shy about that. If you send me an email, you don't hear from me, send me another one. Don't worry. Just ping me until I'm senseless and I finally do it. I'm interrupt driven. But for instance, one woman, I think, I want to say about 16 or 17 letters to various schools, fellowships, things like that. And it's like, damn, when are they going to make a call so I can stop writing these things? But go get her. Very strong. Good stuff. So you got PSC, Pittsburgh Supercomputing Center next week, then the interview, then you're done. And you can go on with your lives. It's been great having you guys in here, and you might make history in two different ways. The first being the only team that is led from post to post all the way through. Never happened before. The second, the first repeat champion. Could be building a dynasty here, damn it. A dynasty. Wow. Think about that. Factor that into your decision, Jaden. You'd be taking over, perhaps, a dynasty. Heady stuff. Anyway, well, thank you for being in the competition. Thank you for your time. Keep in touch, because I'm always interested in what you're doing. And we will see if we can convince Jaden to take over the leadership role. And
We'll work on him.
Work on him. I'll get Michael to work on him too. Sure. But really appreciate having you guys in this. Much fun. And you've done a great job. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.